Thanks for joining us, Phil. Just get us started with your thoughts on today's win.
Yeah, well, I think it was a important win. I think there's many emotions probably going through my mind in terms of I thought we thoroughly deserved to win the game with the control that we had in the game. Two silly mistakes as we've had. We had to make some brave decisions today, and I think players responded from those decisions. And I'm super proud of the players. I think at half time there was probably a lot of people, probably inside and outside the club, probably lost a little bit of faith in the team, but more importantly, probably in me. And one thing I would say, I've always fronted up criticism throughout my career, and I think when we came to this football club, we knew we had a hell of a job, a big job to do, and I think we've seen that in the first 12 games. But I think the one thing that we've added to this football club is an incredible spirit, and regardless of what people are saying inside and outside the club, is that the spirit in that second half was bigger than probably anything I've seen in football, and I've seen an awful lot in football in terms of a set of players, a set of my staff, a set of my supporters sucking the ball into the back of that net. And I'd say that at the end, like I say, I think on the biggest stages that I've been involved in, I've not seen that apart from at the very, very, very top level football. Old Trafford, the Cop at Anfield, those supporters willed the team, willed the ball into the back of the net. And that's what makes me proud to be the manager of this football club. And we've got a hell of a lot of work to do. We've got, it's a big job, but one that I absolutely have fallen in love with, and one that we will have success in, and that I can promise, because I back myself. I've got full confidence in myself, and I think what you saw in the second half is that the players have got full confidence in what we're doing, and that's what makes me super proud. And in 2 days' time, we go again to Minnesota.
We'll open up to questions. Who would like to start?
Phil, after Seattle, you talked a lot about the team needing that drive that they showed in the second half tonight. How can the team build on this result going into Minnesota, which has historically been a tough place for this club to play?
Yeah, I mean, every team that we play is a difficult team to play against. Tough opposition. Every team's strengthening. You look at the investment that San Jose have made. The guy that scored the second goal, Lopez, I think is a $7 million investment. When you invest that kind of money, you get that kind of quality. And every team's like that. Minnesota, did they draw tonight 2-2? I think they've drawn against Galaxy, maybe 2-2 tonight. They're on a hell of a run. I think they've won the last 4 and drawn the last 1. It's going to be a difficult game. But what we said to the players this week is that we've got to start putting the first bricks of the foundation down. I think being totally honest, the foundations have probably not been that strong in the last 2.5 years, but in particular the last 12 games. We've scored goals, but we've looked anything but a team that's got strong foundations. I'd say the last 3 games, I think we've looked a little bit more solid, but we've still conceded goals. But tonight, our forwards were incredible. Jonathan Rodriguez wasn't happy about being left out. I felt it was imperative for him to take a step back, breathe, watch, and then go on angry. I think sometimes in life, you have to take a step back to go too forward, and today what he showed was he's going to be a goal scorer in this league, and he's had a hell of a baptism. He's come into a team that was conceding goals, not winning games, and sometimes the burden, the expectation is massive in this league for the DP players. When you're in other leagues and you've got 15 DP players in your squad, you can spread the expectation and pressure. In this league, you're looking at 2 or 3 players in every single game. So our DPs won us the game tonight, and that's what DPs we've invested in, and that's why they're in this league.
Coach, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Feels good to
not
break
said
the
that for a
streak.
long time.
To open this game, you started off with a 3 at the back look. I'm just wondering, is that something you're looking to implement more into, like, just the everyday tactical shape of this club?
Yeah, I think so. I think you look at modern football now, and I thought we were playing it. I thought we had control of the game, I've got to say. A couple of mistakes. I said at the start, we're going to have fluid systems. We're going to have fluid systems where, you know, where teams probably don't know what we're going to play, or we're going to have fluidity within systems, and you know, a 3-5-2, 3-4-3, call it what you want, is something that we've been working on. Players are comfortable. We've got 5 centre backs that are all capable to play that way. We've got wing backs that like to get forward, and so it suits us well.
Hey, Coach, that was quite a fun second half.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk about the changes you made at halftime, bringing off Mabiala, bringing in Eric, and some of those tactical plays or changes with the players. Are they still, I hate for lack of better term, auditioning for a starting position? You said there was going to be a lot of changes. Guys had to prove that they wanted to play for this team. Did you see some changes today compared to Sunday's match?
Well, I think in a 3-game week, you're always going to make a few changes. There was a system change tonight. I think it suits Kamal, it suits Zuparic. Miguel Arajo's not back yet, and Zach's obviously been on the bench. So I think it gets to the point when you go 8-9 games without a win, is that you've got to freshen it up. You've got to get a spark. You've got to try something different. You know, is that saying, you do what you always do, you get what you always get. And I was really being conscious of that, of trying to get some kind of stability to our group, and I feel as if that's the biggest challenge I've had since I've come in: stability, consistency, in play, out of play. You know, you even saw at the end in the last 10 minutes of the game. We were up in the game, they were down to 10 men, and we just didn't keep possession of the ball. We give away silly passes. We didn't run the ball into the corner, and then they nearly score at the end, and you think to yourself that was all because of us. And I've got to say, it's probably the most angriest I've ever been when I've been in the dressing room then, because we've got to stop making those dumb mistakes. And they're a young group, they're a learning group. I think we're all getting used to each other. But I think what I did see tonight, and what I think is a hallmark of a team that I've always coached, is that the team's got great spirit, and they never give up, and they never stop fighting. They never stop fighting for me, for the staff, for each other, and for that incredible bunch of supporters.
Hey, Phil, I kind of wanted to drill down a little bit on the difference between the two halves. Was there something that you said in the locker room at halftime that, you know, maybe sparked the team, or was there a moment during the second half that you saw that the tide was turning?
The team had no confidence in the first half. You know, Santi and Anthony, they were tense. You know, our players were tense, and I told them at half-time, when you're in situations like that and your back's against the wall, and you know, speaking the truth, your neck is on the line and your job's on the line, and you say, right, okay, you've got to tell them how to feel, you've got to tell them how to win the game. So at half-time, it was all about, what are we going to do to win the game? We can win the game. We're going to start believing that we can win the game. And I never stopped believing. Honestly, I never stopped believing that we were never going to win that we were not going to win that game, because, you know, I think I felt it all day. I've got to say, I felt it all day. I felt that we were going to win. I kept looking at the league table all day. That was my motivation. I showed the players the league table in my pre-match. I showed them when they came in at half-time that's not good enough for this group. And where's your motivation? Your motivation is you can go up 4 places into a position where you can now start thinking about going forward. And that feels a little bit better. We've got so much more work to do. But I think the belief and confidence, hopefully from a victory like that, takes us a long way.
Phil, what's it been like for you to try to solve the riddle of this club, especially over the last 10 matches? I mean, as you're trying new things, what has your kind of approach to solving those issues been, and what's it been like for you as week by week hasn't worked?
Yeah, well, you know, I think since Sunday was a real low point, because when you play your biggest rivals, it's a game for the supporters, and I really felt that result was personal for me in terms of the way that we performed. I thought I thought it was just a soft performance against a team that I felt we should have had an impact again. So I'd say that the last 2 or 3 days, I think what happens when you're in these situations, you've got one or two ways to go. You back down and you go backwards, or you go on the front foot. And I've always been taught all my life about being on the front foot. I'm not going to shy away from any challenges. I've got challenges within this football club to get this team better, get results, get us into the playoffs. That's a hell of a challenge. We've not been there for the last 2 years. There's reasons for that. It's not just one man's fault. There's reasons for that. We need to keep moving forward and transition this squad into a squad that can compete. And you've got the challenge of winning over a brilliant set of supporters. They have their doubts. If I was a Timbers Army supporter, I would probably have those same doubts. But what I would say is that I'm not going to back down from saying that I firmly believe we will be a success at this football club. I firmly believe that this group of players, with what we're trying to do, will be a success. There's going to be waves. There's going to be peaks and troughs. We've had some peaks this year. We've had many troughs, and I firmly believe that good things. Sometimes you've got to wait. Sometimes you've got to suffer. At this moment in time, I feel as if we've all been suffering from top to bottom of the football club. But one thing that hasn't wavered is the support that I've had from within the football club. Merritt, Ned, Heather, 1,000% they're behind me because they trust what I'm doing. They believe in what I'm doing. But come with that needs to be results. And I think tonight was a big win for the group, for the team, and for me personally.
We'll do one last question.
Coach, felicidades por la victoria.
Gracias.
How worried were you? You were talking about the support from up above. How worried were you about your job coming into this game, and how do you feel right now?
I don't worry about things like that. You know, I think there's enough things happening in the world that I worry about. I worry about my children. I worry about people in Portland, you know, that are suffering in Portland. So I think there's bigger things in the world to worry about than me losing my job. I've lost my job before in another job. So I think when you're a football manager and you stick your head above the parapet, that comes with the territory. But what I do worry about is that I want to be a success. That's what I worry about. I care about these players. I care about my assistants, my technical staff. I love Merritt. I love Ned. They've put a lot of faith in me, and I want to deliver for them. And like I say, I want to deliver for those supporters. And I made a comment at the start of the press conference about, you know, I've been in some really, really incredible atmospheres in my life, and I've got to say tonight, there's been one or two instances where a crowd has won a team a game, and that's through support, encouragement, sucking the ball into the back of the net, pressure and intensity. I don't think you get that in any other MLS stadium, and I don't say that lightly because the atmospheres in many stadiums are good now, but they're not like that. They don't keep going right to the very end. They pressure, they intense, and they get behind their team. And I've seen it with the Thorns, and I've seen it with the Timbers, is that is our X factor. That's why we've got to deliver for them. That's why we've got to be successful, because when it takes off, I honestly, I dream about it every single night, about what it's going to be like here when we do start playing well consistently, when we do start climbing the table, and when we do start having success. And, you know, I feel a little bit emotional tonight, but that's me. Okay, thanks guys.
Wrap it there. Thank you.